Hello, everybody. This is Neela Ray, the designer and mother from Mansfield, Louisiana. And guess what time it is? It's story time. Let's name this one Once Upon a Ball Gown, The Tale of Three Queens. Sit down and listen. I promise it's going to be worth it. So let's get into it. I'm going to show you what most wouldn't and give you a behind the scenes look at my life as a designer who is imperfect, but I won't stop striving to get as close as I can. Without further ado, let me tell y'all what happened. Just listen. I promise it's all going to make sense. And just take a look at this beauty. But before we get there, we got something to talk about. So I'm living in Dallas, Texas. It's October 27th, year 2022 at 4:49 p.m. to be exact. I'm in my living room taking a video of a dress for my client, Madison. Who is Madison, you may ask? Let's just call her the queen from Union Parish. And see, as I was admiring this gown, I thought I did a pretty good job. I hadn't made that many ball gowns, so I was like, okay, it's giving what I thought it was supposed to give. So I made the dress, and I'm just sitting there proud of myself. And her family drove up to Dallas to pick up the dress. We tried it on. There was no issues. All I was waiting on now is pictures and videos from the event because the job was done, right? But that would just seem too much like right? Too perfect, a little too good to be true. I'm at home all relaxed, about to end the day and go to sleep. And then I get a call from Madison's mom. And guess what she said? She said the zipper broke. So I'm like, I know you lying. I know the zipper. I know you lying. Now, mind you, I'm in Dallas, Texas. She's in Farmerville, Louisiana. And that's 3 hours and 54 minutes away. And not to mention that the coronation was the next day. And not in the middle of the day, not at night. It was the next morning. Now, anybody else may have panicked, but I've come to know what to do and how to think fast when I need to. And God always sets up things for me that just somehow always works in a way that benefits me. My baby's auntie just happened to be coming in town that night. So you guessed it, I asked her, could you watch these kids while I go handle some business in Louisiana? She said yes, and thank God she did. So you guessed it, yes, I was on the road at 2 a.m. leaving from Dallas to go to Louisiana to fix that zipper. And I got there around 6 o'clock, got in, and got the business taken care of. So since I decided I'm already here and it's about time for the coronation to start, I may as well stay. So I did. So I followed Queen Madison and her family to her school. So long story short, I went in, got her dress, and you guessed it, here goes more problems. The problem was the fabric that I chose to use was too heavy for the particular petticoat that I had. That type of petticoat was not what I needed for this type of ball gown. I needed something strong and durable. So I'm putting on Queen Madison's dress, and I'm noticing something. The rings are showing. And I mean, not just showing, they were showing like a newly engaged woman that was going around her friends and family to brag about her new ring she got. And again, in my head, I'm playing it off, but in my head, I'm like, I know you're lying. I know you're lying. I know this is not happening right now, but guess what? Indeed it was. And on top of that, the petticoat itself starts to rip. In the midst of all that, I noticed something about Madison. I see why they chose her to be the queen. It was her attitude. I've been around many girls, and so usually when something goes wrong, I've seen all types of temperaments. She didn't turn into a brat. She didn't turn into a monster. She stayed calm, and she handled everything with grace. And she may have had the reason to turn into all these things, but she didn't. And I noticed it, and it definitely spoke volumes about the person that she is. And I was thankful because I truly went out of my way to make things perfect, but sometimes they just don't end up that way, and that's okay. And yes, at the time, I was disappointed, but not enough to let something like this defeat me, only to use it for motivation for the next time. Now let's put a pause on that, and we'll be back. As sure as that door closed for me, you gotta know another one open. Now let's get to the real good part. Let's fast forward to October 2024. I'm living back in my hometown, Mansfield, Louisiana, with my parents. And I was not even thinking about a homecoming season. I had just finished another draining prom season. I did not want to see another dress. I did not want to hear about another dress or anything of the sort. But one of my best friends spent the entire summer encouraging me. And I decided, okay, I'm going to listen to her and I'm going to take a few people. And I am so glad that I listened to her because this was one of the best homecoming rollouts I've ever had. And how was it the best? Just stay tuned. You're about to see. I got a call from my son's Mimi, and her daughter, which is my son's aunt, had become homecoming queen in Arcadia, Louisiana. And guess what the style of choice was? Ball gown. So there was an opportunity for me to prove to myself that I could do a ball gown. So with all that being said, this is the story of the second queen, Queen Kira. This queen let me know that I could freestyle, and what did she tell me that for? That is what I do. That is when you're going to get my absolute best. So let's skip the small talk and let's get right into the creation of this beautiful ball gown. So here's a few clips of me sewing the corset, adding boning, and completing the base of the top of my ball gown. In the making of this ball gown, the first thing I wanted to take into consideration was Queen Kira's skin tone. I sourced a darker tone corset mesh because I wanted to highlight Kira's beautiful skin tone. I wanted to find a mesh that truly matched it, and this was the perfect match. I modified the corset by lengthening it and dropping the center seam to create more of a scoop, and I then lengthened 2 points at the top to create that pointy effect that I wanted. And I used a grommet setting machine to put the grommets in, and I will also drop a link in the description to show where I got this from, as well as my rotary cutter for any designer enthusiasts that want to know where I got these things from. And I also use a pattern from Etsy, and I will drop that in the description as well, so that you all can use this pattern and kind of modify it and make it your own. Here you'll see me using what is called a pearl setting machine. I got that from Amazon as well, and I will also link that in the description. And so I got this sparkly spray from Amazon because I said the corset needed a little glitter. I panicked because I poured the glitter on here thinking I had messed it up, but all I had to do was quickly rub it in, and it turned out to be perfect after I let it dry on the outside. Use always a sample piece of fabric before you use it on any fabric, before you just go pouring it and spraying it on anything. That's the disclaimer. Don't say I didn't tell you so. Now let's move on to this skirt. And due to my ball gown trauma, I knew I had to come hard with this one. And not to prove it to anybody else, because I don't care what people have to say about me, but I wanted to prove it to myself because, Queen, you can do better than that. So let me set the scene up for y'all. I'm in the country, working in my parents' backyard, in one of those sheds that you can buy and they build it in your backyard or bring it to you. And respect the queen's workplace, because I've sent some bad gowns out of that small shed, okay? But it just was not big enough for what I needed to do. And I couldn't even cut the skirt out on the inside. So guess what? I sent my father to the store. He got me some tables and I set up and cut out outside. Now this is homecoming season. I gotta do what I gotta do. Time is short. There's money to be made and looks to be slayed. So yes, I was standing outside in the afternoon and nighttime cutting the dress out, getting bitten by all types of mosquitoes. The type of mosquitoes that will take your clothes off just to bite you and pull them back up and come back for more later. Yeah, them kind. But of course, anything for the look. So fast forward, I cut all those pieces out, pinned them together, serged them, sewed them, and put the linings all together. I hemmed the skirt, and I put all the notions and zippers in, added the waistband, and there you have it. The skirt was complete. And here's a few clips of me making the bow, and this is the last piece that I had to make for this dress. And no, I don't have a set method on making a bow. I just did what I felt was right at the time, just using my creativity. But let's move on. Here's a few clips of Queen Kira coming to Mansfield to try on her dress. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I have to reiterate, I love glitter. So to turn off the lights and just to see the effects of the glitter, and it was shiny when the lights went on, but it's something about when that flash hits it, yeah, it just lights my world up. And yes, we had to take this huge dress outside because we couldn't get the effects of how big and beautiful it was on the inside. So yes, let's take it out and let's see what we're working with. And lastly, this was her trying it on before I actually had added embellishments to the corset and chose that I wanted to put the corset on the inside and not the out because I wanted the waistband to show. Now that that's out of the way, let me formally introduce myself. The third and final queen of this story, Mrs. Neela Ray, the woman who decided to be determined and not to quit. And see, not only was this Queen Kira's night, but this was Miss Neela Ray's night as well. Of course, I went and got my hair and makeup done because that's what queens do, right? After I finished getting ready, I got my son ready and we got on the road and we headed to get the queen ready for her homecoming coronation. And I was so excited because after all of this preparation, it was finally time for the big reveal. So after she finished getting all glammed up with her makeup, it was time for me to get her dressed. So these are a few clips and pictures of me actually getting her dressed moments before her big reveal. At this moment, I was more ready than she was. Not only was I excited about her reveal, I was mostly proud of myself for making her feel good. So at this point, the ball gown trauma is subsiding and it's all gone, and I'm just ready for the people to see her, and I'm ready for her to have her big moment. So her glam team made sure everything was perfect. So after we got her dressed and all ready to go, all we had to do was wait. And now we were seconds, moments away from her big reveal. So they call us out the room, and now it's time. It is time for the big moment. And here she is walking in all beautiful, nervous, and just ready to go. And just look at her. She looks so stunning. And here it is, the moment of the night, presenting to you Queen Kira. And it was at this moment where I was purely mesmerized. While everyone saw a ball gown, I saw something totally different. This was me overcoming the feeling of embarrassment, the feeling of defeat and disappointment, and bottling all those things up to make something so beautiful. And what keeps me so confident, what I have to ask myself is, what success story does not have failures in it? None. You only learn from mistakes, and I really don't even like to call them mistakes. Everything is a lesson. But what you do with defeat and what you do with failure is totally up to you. I'm just not one of those ones that's okay with it. I gotta do something about it. And by the way, I have to mention, all the girls and boys look good that night. The girls all looked like princesses, and the boys were so handsome. Everything was so well thought out. And Queen Kira was just giving Princess Tiana. I just loved everything about it. As she waved the crowd goodbye and gave hugs to her family and friends, I was still in awe. And here I am in her face again, stalking her, making sure I get the footage. Because yes, I'm that designer. If I'm coming to the function, I'm in your face with the camera. And just like that, the night was over. Mission complete. Ball gown trauma over. But there's still some things I gotta perfect. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. And you may be wondering, what happened to Queen Madison? Well, let me tell you what happened. Madison and her family booked me again for her prom, so I got another chance to do Madison another dress. This was Madison's senior prom. And some people may say, why did they book her again? She made a mistake. Because her mother saw my efforts and she was so appreciative of it. And some people believe in second chances, believe it or not. And not only did she go to prom, but Queen Madison won prom queen, of course. Now that's what you call a happy ending. Thank you so much for staying to the end of my story time. Until next time, and I guarantee you there will be a next time, I'll see you later.